All right, we might kick it off there, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I know this is a very last minute WebEx that I've organised here, but I just thought it was really important that we fill you in on the developments over the last night, essentially, and how we're kind of attacking that from a school perspective to make sure that, one, we can still have this event go ahead. Because I know the students have been really looking forward and they've worked so hard over the course of this year to be a part of it. But two, making sure that we can run this event successfully and safely for the kids as well. So I do apologise for it being so last minute, and I apologise again for the influx of information last night, including that new booklet. But I think it's important we all kind of get on the same page so that you're aware of the changes that we've made, and that you're aware of that we're thinking ahead to make sure that this is going to run as smoothly as possible when the event starts on Thursday. So what I figured I'll do is I'll quickly just run over the changes that we've made to the event again, that I've outlined in the booklet. And then after that, what I'm thinking is that we've just got a chance for you to ask any questions that you might have or that you'd like answered about anything to do with the event or why we've had to change it and so on. But hopefully the quick presentation over the next 5 minutes might answer some of those questions, and make things a little bit more clearer for you as well. So I'll just quickly go across to our information schedule here. Perfect. So obviously this wet weather has been a nightmare for everyone, and I know there's been lots of flooding around lots of different houses around Buninyong area, but also down in Maryborough as well. And unfortunately, we got an email last night from the event organisers to essentially say that Prince's Park, where we were originally going to be camping, is now completely a mud pit, and it's so soft and wet that it would just be unviable for us to be able to camp on there, which is a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. So what they've done is they've decided to change the camping location. So the new camp location they were proposing is actually about 1 kilometre away from the track. So it was a long way, and it was going to mean logistically it was going to be very hard to go back and forth from the pit lane back over to the camping grounds, back to the pit lane, and so on. Because those trips do have to be done when you're camping on site sometimes at this event. And I just was thinking to myself, not only is it going to be wet and cold down there, because the grounds are still very wet in this new camping area, with the camping location over 1 km away, the fact that this new camping site doesn't have any power available, and the fact that there's quite a big mosquito problem down there in the middle of the night, it just wasn't adding up for us to make the camping a worthwhile trip down in Maryborough. So essentially, I got my thinking hat on last night to come up with a way that we can still have a successful event where we can get down there and enjoy it, but how we can still allow the students to have that really fantastic experience of that camping, because I know that's one thing they're really looking forward to. So here are the changes that I've made to allow us to run this event for this year. So the first big thing is we've decided to have the base bus be used as a transport vessel to get us to and from the event each day. So in terms of how things have changed, Thursday will run essentially exactly the same, except that we will be coming home on the Thursday night instead of camping down there. So what that is going to look like is the students will arrive back at Buninyong Primary School at around 10 o'clock. Now, this is dependent on how well the race goes and if it goes to plan, but we'll just let you guys know on Compass as soon as possible so we can get a time so you're not sitting out the front of the school waiting for an extended period of time. So it's going to be, my best estimate would be between 10 and 10:15 that night. The reason behind going home on the Thursday night, I thought it's going to be a really good opportunity for the kids to get some rest, to have a shower, to get a really good night's sleep, to then come back to school on the Friday morning. So on the Friday morning, the next change would be we'll arrive at school, and what we'll do is in the kitchen area at school, we'll cook up a big EBT breakfast. So That will be a chance for the team to bond. We'll get some bacon and eggs that we're going to cook down at the campgrounds, but we'll just transport everything here to cook it here. And the kids can sit down, have some breakfast together, have a bit of a laugh, have some juice, get themselves nice and energized for the day, and then we will go off to Maryborough. So on the Friday night, then the plan is, instead of camping down at the campsite, we will camp, the majority of us, down at Bunnyong Primary School. So we'll camp in the BER area where the 5-6s are located. So that essentially will give the students that camping experience and allow them to have a sleepover with their friends to then be ready to move to Maryborough the next morning. Now, breakfast that next morning is going to be served in Maryborough. So we'll have a few little nibbles and whatnot to eat on the bus, but the main breakfast will be served once we actually arrive at the EBT site. Over the course of the day, what I've done is I've slightly edited this schedule. Not on the Thursday or Friday. That remains exactly the same in terms of we leave here at 8:45. We arrive at 8:45. We pack up our seats, our camping chairs, our backpacks onto the bus. We head down to Maryborough. We do the event. We have dinner down there, and then we jump on the bus and come back. So that remains the same. And I've just highlighted it in red, the big changes. On the Friday, once we arrive, students just bring all their sleeping gear, so their mattress, their sleeping bag, their pillow, the toiletries, into the BER in preparation for the overnight stay. So then, once they've dropped it off at the BER, they head across to the kitchen for a team breakfast. So we will have that breakfast for around 45 minutes, and then we'll look to leave school at around 9:15, 9:30, depending how quickly we can get everyone organised after breakfast. And then we arrive down in Maryborough at around 10:15, 10:30 to start the race at 11:30 with the assembly of the starting grid, and then actually start pedaling at 12 o'clock. Lunch happens exactly the same as it would. Dinner happens exactly the same as it would. The racing then ends at 9 o'clock, and this is then, instead of camping down there, we hop on the bus, we head back to Bunnyong Primary School, we arrive back at school, we set up our sleeping areas in the BER, brush our teeth, get ready for bed, and then it's lights out and asleep time. So it will be quite a late night, because by the time we get back, it will be around 10 o'clock. So we're probably looking at sleeping at around 10:45, 10:30. This next day, so this is the plan that's been slightly altered from what I sent out last night, purely because I'm thinking logistically getting the kids up at 4:30 and driving on the road down to Maryborough. There's a few things that I'm just a bit nervous about. So I've decided to make a few changes, and the changes that have happened from this will be, the majority of the students will be staying down in the BER at Bunnyong Primary School, and they'll be set. Instead of getting them up so early where we're going to have to be on the road at 5 o'clock, we're allowing them to have a bit of a sleep in, where we might get up, and by sleep in I mean we'll get up at about 5:45. And this means that we'll have breakfast at the BER, we'll have breakfast at school, we get on the bus at about 6:15, 6:20, and we drive down to Maryborough at 7:15. So we'll get there essentially an hour and a bit after the start time of the race. Now, for the start of the race, the plan is, and I've already contacted the two parents that will be staying with us during the EBT. Two of the parents that will be staying with us at EBT, and they're going to be camping down in Maryborough with a small selection of students, including myself, that will then start the race at 6 o'clock. So we're going to be able to provide a really good and safe environment for that small selection of students, so they can camp safely down on site, to then make sure that we've got kids there ready to start it at 6 o'clock without having to get a car down there at 4:30 in the morning, driving to Maryborough in the pitch black, which is where I was very hesitant. So once we arrive down at 7:15, the kids just jump straight onto the track. The racing concludes then at 11 o'clock. The bus then will come and collect us again and bring us back to school to be collected at 1 o'clock, 1:30 from Bunnyong Primary School. Once again, all parents will just be notified on Compass of the arrival time, depending if it's been pushed back a little bit later or it looks like we're going to get back a little bit earlier. But that's going to be the plan. So a small change from that Saturday. The the parents of the students that I've got to start the race at 6 o'clock, I've been in contact with. So if I have not been in contact with you yet, that will essentially mean that your student will come back to Bunnyong Primary School to stay in the BER on Friday night, to then leave at 6:15 on Saturday morning on the bus. So they will not have to camp down in Maryborough. Has anyone got any questions about the new schedule? I might ask, for any questions there, because I'm sure there might be a few things that will pop up.
I guess just a question on the
Yep.
actual. I know it's unfortunate we've had so much rain, but was there any thoughts of the actual event, the whole event being altered, like pushing
Yep.
it all back,
Um,
to reduce the pressure on all the schools instead of starting at 6 a.m.?
Yeah, so no, essentially not. So because they run the primary school event, the secondary event, the pushcart derbies, as well as some other little competitions down there, I think for them to push it back would just be near on impossible.
Or
So
even, or is the timing critical? Like it has to go for a certain amount of hours, or could they just not take an hour off to make it easier for everyone?
Yeah, so because the schools are coming from a variety of different places, and there are some schools have cancelled over the last 24 hours because of the weather. Some schools are still camping down there, but because there's roughly anywhere between 60 to 80 schools involved in it from a regional Victoria and extended, there's just no way for them to move it around, because the starting time and the finishing time is then dictated to the next event that's going to be occurring as well, and it all matches up with the secondary time schedule. So I'd love for them to be able to do it, but unfortunately, the only way we could do it is if we just turned up late and we just missed 2 hours of our race time.
Then the only other question is around,
Yep.
I'm assuming you've told all the kids today, or are they aware of the plan, or do we need to take them through this tonight?
Yeah, correct. So we sat down all the kids that are involved in the program and went through it with them today. So they're aware of the changes that have been made, and they were disappointed about not camping down there, and that's why, essentially we put together that plan of staying down at school on the Friday night to still give them that experience. So it's not the exact same, but it's essentially making the best of an average situation and something that's out of our control. So they'll be completely aware.
I guess then with the change in plans, do you need any extra help, arms, legs to, I don't know, set up beds while you're in the afternoon on Friday, or when school finishes, or
Yeah,
breakfast?
so I think we should be fine with the staff members being at school, happy to help out. And what we'll do is we'll just set up all the bedding at Bunnyong up against the side of the BER, so then it's really quick and easy just to put them straight out on the floor, and then essentially jump into bed. The good thing is, with having the kids, a small selection of kids staying down in Maryborough, will be that we're not pressed for time in a way. So
Mm.
if it takes a little bit longer for the kids to get to sleep, then we can sleep in that little bit longer. So we're not going to be in full panic mode to get the kids on the road, to get them by that 6 o'clock time slot, which will be good. So I will yell out Michael if I feel that, maybe an extra pair of hands would be really handy, and it might be. I'm still working out logistically how we're going to set up that bedding. So hopefully the majority of it's ready to go by the time we get back to school. So then it's not going to take an hour to set up bedding, and then we're asleep by 11:30, and the kids are absolutely knackered. So long story short, I'll let you know.
Cool. Not a problem.
Thank you. Is there any other questions that anyone might have about it all? Yeah, whether it's the timings or yeah, how it's going to work at the BER. If there is, feel free to send them through to me via email or stay online after we finish this WebEx, and I'm happy to go through it all with you again, just to make sure that you're feeling really comfortable about what we're doing from a school perspective to get this event up and running. I have put together a quick little what to bring each day, because obviously we won't need to bring that massive big camping bag on that first day. Essentially, we'll just need a day backpack. So in that day backpack, a packed snack and lunch. So they might bring a little extra snack to nibble on during the day. A water bottle. They'll have their EBT shirt on. Just some school shorts. The only other thing I'd mention is maybe just to bring some pants and a jumper in their bag, and that's purely just because of the night session. Because we're going later, we're finishing at 8:30. It will get a little bit chilly down there at times, so maybe just something to put on when they do get cold. Just bring a pair of runners. We've obviously got clip-on shoes for when they're actually riding in the bike. A school hat. A big one as well is insect repellent. So talking to people down in Maryborough, it's not too bad during the day and during the the late parts of the afternoon. So we will need to make sure we've got it on, but late at night it does get it's not fantastic for the mosquitoes down there at the minute. So if you can please make sure that your child's got insect repellent. We'll have a heap of it here from school, but the more the merrier, essentially. That would be great. If you could please just bring a camping chair, something that the kids can sit on as they're waiting for their turn in the bike. If you just have your name on it somewhere on the chair, that'll be great. We'll bring them down on the Thursday, and we'll just leave them overnight, so that way we're not having to cart them back and forth, back and forth. So I'll have a moving truck down there that we can put all our camping chairs in overnight, so that way they're nice, safe, and secure as well. Any medication and a bike helmet as well would be really beneficial. In terms of staying overnight then on the Friday, so if you have an overnight bag that you just drop off in the BER in the morning, just with the bits and pieces that they'll need for that overnight stay. So Lilo mattress, pillow, sleeping bag, toiletries, pajamas, a fresh pair of underwear, another pair of school shirts, and maybe an extra school shirt. Kids will normally love to wear the EBT team shirts on that third day. Sometimes they can be quite stinky. So depending on the child and how keen they are to wear it, sometimes it's nice just to get a bit of an extra school shirt for that last day. So I'd probably just put one in there just in case. And then they can just bring their day backpack then as well to Maryborough during the day with just a water bottle. Once again, jumper and pants. Maybe a beanie for the evening session, because we go just that half an hour later, 9 o'clock we finish at. Runners, school hat, and once again, insect repellent. And then the others will already be down there at the event. As we mentioned in the parent information booklet, kids can bring some money down where they can go off it with a teacher and be supervised to buy some nibbles during the course of the day. They're more than welcome to do that. Adds to the experience, and hopefully, we'll just have a word to them as we're down at the event as well to make sure they're not buying too much sugary stuff, because with a lot of exercise and a lot of sugar, it's not always the best combination at times. So we'll be mindful of that one once we're down. The actual schedule of the events hasn't changed. The food hasn't changed as well. That will remain the same, with the only difference being on the Friday morning, we'll cook the bacon and eggs at school and have the cereal and juice here. So that won't be done at the site. That will be done on the school premises. But apart from that, the rest will stay the same. In terms of the map, so that will stay the same. Our camping site, our pit site is going to be down on the right-hand side here of pit 2A. So that's going to be down the ends. Essentially, as the kids come into the pit lane, they'll see our marquees. and then they'll stop right there, and then they'll just have to ride straight through the pit lane all the way to the end to get back onto the track. As we mentioned, we'll have our pit lane set up, which will be for the kids and the helpers. And then on the other side of the track, I'll set up a bunny on marquee for spectators to come and stand underneath and to watch the racing, which will be great. So that will be directly opposite our pit lane, providing that I can get in nice and early tomorrow to set it all up for everyone. So that will be up and running, which will be great. So it gives you guys a good chance to be able to stand in the shade or away from the rain, and watch the kids compete. And the rest of that is all very straightforward. So that's exactly the same as what was in the previous booklet. So essentially from there, they are the really big changes. Hopefully they make sense. And we've tried really hard here from a school perspective to make sure that the kids are going to have a really enjoyable time and they can still enjoy all those really core elements of what EBT is about. But it has had to look a little bit different this year than we were planning. So, bit of going with the flow from last night and making a few changes on the spot. But I think we've got a really good plan now to hit the ground running. Before we clock off for tonight's parent information session, once again, I'll open it up to any questions anyone might have, and hopefully we can clear the air, moving forwards to the event starting on Thursday. No, absolute pleasure. Not a problem at all. All right. Well, it looks like we don't have any questions just yet, but I will stay online here for everyone if you want to hang around on the WebEx, and feel free to ask away. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. Otherwise, thank you, everyone, once again. Thank you for being so understanding and so supportive of the kids during this program. It means a great deal, and a lot of organisation and preparation has gone into it from not just us but the kids as well. So we're looking forward to getting across there on Thursday. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy. Wish us luck, and I'll see everyone out there on Thursday or Friday or Saturday, depending if you can get down. Thanks, team.